All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got a new video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I got a few new people. Welcome. I'm very happy that I've gotten the response that I've gotten. It's been pretty much all positive. Once in a while, I get a detractor in here, and I'm just giving you the straight facts. I don't give you wild takes. Wild opinions. I'm just giving you the facts on certain subjects. Now, this particular subject is a narrative. Now, I love to debunk the narratives, especially the Shannon Sharps, the Nick Wrights, all these people. And a narrative they like to bring up is this competition thing about LeBron James, how he played all these top 75 players and all the da-da-da-da. Okay, well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this alleged competition. Because I don't know if anybody's ever looked at this before, but you tell me. So what I'm going to look at is LeBron James's competition when he was not on Miami. When LeBron James was on Cleveland for the 11 years, and even LA for the 6 years. That's 17 years. Let's take a look. Who are the primary teams that he played? I know he played Boston a couple times. He played Toronto, Atlanta, later on, whatever. Played Golden State a lot. Whatever. Okay. So what I'm looking at here is all this talk about top 75 players, everything about beating top 75 players. I've heard it so much. Oh, LeBron beat Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, 3 top 75 players. He beat Kidd and Nowitzki, 2 top 75 players. Blah, 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 blah. Beat Kawhi Leonard and Duncan. Okay, that's all true. But why don't we talk about all of it? So the teams that eliminated LeBron, the 2008 and the 2010 Boston Celtics, all right? Now, we're made to believe, well, they had 3 top 75 players. They were all great. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Let's look at them individually. What did they do? Ray Allen, he was on Milwaukee and then Seattle before he went to the Big 3 in Boston, right? Ray Allen didn't play with a top 75 player, right? Until he got to Boston. And then later Miami, da-da-da-da. How many top 75 players do you think Ray Allen beat before he got to Boston to play with Garnett and Pierce? How many? How many think? He was on Milwaukee and Seattle for 11 years. From 97 to 07. 11 seasons. How many top 75 players do you think he beat in the playoffs? How about 0? Not 1. Even with the Big 3 in Boston, he, in his 16 years from 97 to 2012, I'm not counting Miami, the super duper team crap, from 97 to 2012, he was on Milwaukee, Seattle, and Boston. Those years. He beat a total of 5 top 75 players. They beat LeBron in 08, Kobe in 08, Dwayne Wade in 2010, LeBron in 2010, and Carmelo Anthony in 2011. That is the entire extent of what Ray Allen beat top 75 players before he went to Miami, and then it was a super duper ridiculous team at that point. How about Paul Pierce? What did he do? He started in 99 through 07 on Boston. So that's 9 seasons. He beat Allen Iverson in 2002 and Reggie Miller in 03, and I think he was about 37 years old then, but whatever, we're counting it. So he beat 2 before joining the Big 3, 7 for his entire career. Okay? How about Kevin Garnett? How many do you think he beat? The only top 75 player Kevin Garnett ever beat before joining Pierce and Allen in Boston was Carmelo Anthony's rookie year in 2004, Denver. That's it. 1. And even if you add the 5 that I just mentioned, they beat together, that's 6 total top 75. So Ray Allen beat 5 total before joining Miami. Paul Pierce in his entire career beat 7. And Kevin Garnett entire career beat 6. Okay. How about Jason Kidd? There's another guy that LeBron played in the East when he played on New Jersey and blah, blah, blah. Before joining Dallas, because then that's another top 75 player, before joining Dallas, from 1995 to 2007, that's 13 years. How many top 75 players do you think he beat? Now remember, they went to the finals twice, in 02 and 03. They beat David Robinson in 2000 because Duncan was hurt, but whatever, they beat him. Reggie Miller in 02. He beat Paul Pierce in 02, Gary Payton in 03, and Paul Pierce in 03. 5 top 75 players he beat in the playoffs before joining Dallas. That's 13 seasons. So 5 for Allen, 7 for Pierce, 6 for Garnett, 5 for Kidd. Okay. What I'm going for here is, how did these guys do, when they didn't have the super duper, team, a really good team? Okay, whatever that is, whatever you want to call it. Now why don't we take a look at some of Michael Jordan's competition. Let's start with Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing never played with a top 75 player in his 15-year Knicks career. Never happened. He played a total of 6 games with a Hall of Famer. That was Bernard King in 1987. That's it. His whole career. He didn't have top 75 teammate. But who did he beat? Well, in 1989, he beat Barkley 3-0 when he was on Philadelphia. Beat Boston in 1990 that had Bird, McHale, and Parrish. And before you start saying that Bird was washed, he averaged just under 25 points a game. He was not washed. The only team to beat Bird in the first round, mind you. He also beat Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman in 1992 in the first round, 3-2. Beat Reggie Miller in 93. Beat Scottie Pippen in 94. Beat Reggie Miller in 94. A total of 9 top 75 players for Ewing. And he never played with a top 75 player. What do you want me to say? Does Ewing get that kind of love? He beat Larry Bird. Does he get any, it's missing off Jordan's resume, right? Does he get any special love for beating Larry Bird? I don't ever hear it. Okay. How about Clyde Drexler? Before he joined the Rockets and Hakeem Olajuwon in 95, he played for Portland for 11 years, from 84 to 94. He never played with a top 75 player and never played with a Hall of Famer. What did he do? Well, in 1990, his team beat the Spurs, David Robinson. In 91, they beat Seattle with Gary Payton. In 91, they also beat Utah with Malone and Stockton. In 92, beat LA with James Worthy. And also in 92, beat Malone and Stockton again. 7 top 75 players from 84 to 94. And that's more than all those other guys I was just giving you. LeBron's big stiff competition, right? Yeah, they didn't. Paul Pierce tied Drexler. And Drexler got to the finals twice. Pierce never got to the finals until he joined the Big Three. Drexler did with no Hall of Fame teammates. 2 finals appearances. How about another guy? How about Sidney Moncrief? Sidney Moncrief never played with a top 75 player when he was on Milwaukee. He got, I believe, 3 years of Jack Sikma from 87 to 89. And Jack Sikma was in his 30s at that point. So Sidney Moncrief beat his Bucks team with no top 75 players, no Hall of Famers on his team. Swept Boston in 83, Bird, McHale, and Parrish. There's 3 right there. That's the only team ever to sweep Larry Bird, the 83 Bucks. Moncrief the best player. Okay, 1984 Atlanta, Dominique Wilkins. 85, the Bulls, Michael Jordan. 86, Dr. J, Charles Barkley. Before you say Dr. J was washed, He averaged 17.7 points a game in the playoffs in the 86. 87, again, beat Philly, Barkley, and Dr. J, who in his last season averaged 17.6 points per game in the playoffs. Was not washed. And that'll give you, in 1989, Atlanta, Dominique Wilkins, giving you a total of 10 top 75 players Sidney Moncrief beat without a top 75 teammate. That's a fact. And he beat multiple top 75 players in 3 series, Philly twice and Boston, who had 3 top 75 players. Like I said, he only had Jack Sikma for 87 through 89 when he was in his 30s. Sikma's a Hall of Famer. That covered 10 years for Moncrief. 10 top 75 players. How about Reggie Miller? He never played with a top 75 player in his whole career. He got 3 years playing with Chris Mullin from 98 to 2000 when he was 34 to 36 years old coming off the bench. Reggie Miller's Pacers beat Shaq in 94, Patrick Ewing in 95, Patrick Ewing in 98, Ray Allen in 99, Allen Iverson in 99, Ray Allen in 2000, Iverson in 2000, Ewing in 2000, Paul Pierce in 04, Dwayne Wade in 04, and Paul Pierce in 05. And Reggie Miller was still averaging 15 points a game in 05, so he wasn't coming off the bench, nothing like that. He beat 11 top 75 players from 88 to 2005. Now granted, that's a longer career, 18 years. Never played with a top 75 player. And Chris Mullin, like I said, only played 3 years, and he was 34 to 36 coming off the bench, averaging under 10 points a game. Now, so I given you LeBron's competition, and I gave you Jordan's competition. These players who never get any love because, Ewing never won a championship, Miller never won a championship because of Jordan. But they obviously beat a lot more top 75 players than LeBron's competition did. Okay, how about LeBron himself? Aside from being on the super duper team of Miami between 2011 to 2014, take those 4 years out. That covers 17 years of his career. What did he beat top 75? Let's take a look. He beat Jason Kidd in 07 on the Nets. They were 41 and 41. Doesn't matter though. He's a top 75. I've heard so much of this from Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp. So you boys take your medicine. 2016 beat Steph Curry. Okay, great. He was hobbled and Green was suspended, but whatever. He beat Curry. Fair enough. Okay, that is the sum total of LeBron's 11-year career on the Cavs. Beat 2 top 75 players in 11 years on Cleveland. And that's including playing with Shaq for 1 year, top 75 player. Kyrie Irving, who was a top 75 player until they took it away from him. And, also Kevin Love, another surefire Hall of Famer. But whatever, doesn't matter. Then he gets Anthony Davis on his team. And we're going to count these two. In 2020, he beat Portland. That had Damian Lillard and Carmelo Anthony on it. Hey, good job. So that brings the total to 4. In 2020, they also beat James Harden and Russell Westbrook. They had 2 on there. That's 6. And then, not this last year, but the year before, in 2023, they beat Golden State, which had Steph Curry. So that's 7. That's a total of 7 top 75 players that LeBron James beat in his 17 years not on Miami. Well, I'm here to tell you that's the same as Clyde Drexler. That's less than Ewing did. That's less than Reggie Miller did. That's less than Sidney Moncrief did. So, you see how ridiculous it can get. Hold on. All right, so quick recap. I'm just showing how ridiculous these stupid narratives are. LeBron James, big competition, the guys he could never get past until he joined Miami. Ray Allen, a total of beat 5 top 75 players before joining Miami, and that covered 16 years. Paul Pierce, 7, and that includes with the big 3. Kevin Garnett, only beat 6, and that includes being on the Big 3 also. And Jason Kidd beat 5 before going to Dallas, and that covered 13 years. KG's entire career, Paul Pierce's entire career, Ray Allen's whole career minus the 2 years in Miami. You see how crazy this gets. See, I didn't include Drexler when he was on Houston because I know then it would be a lot more, and it's stupid. But my point is that Reggie Miller, Sidney Moncrief, Clyde Drexler, and Patrick Ewing all had beat more top 75 players than Jason Kidd before Dallas, Kevin Garnett's whole career, Paul Pierce's whole career, Ray Allen before joining Miami. Those are facts. And these guys never played with top 75 players. Never happened. So, as you can see, these narratives and stuff can get ridiculous really quick. LeBron James only beat 7 ever, not on Miami. So this notion that LeBron James did all this great work and, you know, he never actually beat anybody though. I mean, yeah, he beat some teams when he was on Miami, and, you know, the Lakers beat a couple okay teams, whatever. But that's how ridiculous it is. Maybe you guys should give a little more respect to Michael Jordan's competition, because these guys didn't have top 75 teammates, and yet they still beat a bunch of top 75 players. So anyway, that's it for this video. I just wanted to get it out there. I saw recently Nick Wright flapping his gums again about this stuff. I think it was an older video. Doesn't matter though. But again, I just want to show how ridiculous this stuff can get in a hurry. Enough of this. Beat however many top 75 or beat however many Hall of Famers. That doesn't necessarily make a great team. Okay? I just proved that. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.